Hi, I'm Dr. Cheryl Meyer. I am going to do this for the video I just made, just an introduction for what I think I just said. The things come to me, but mainly what I'm talking about is relationships and addictions, and your relationship with yourself, your relationship with God, your relationship with love, with intimacy, and your lack thereof. Talking about how to have a more conscious life. You have the power to change your life, to truly change it for good. And we have all this time on our hands. So you don't have to learn how to be more conscious. But that's my mission. That's just what's in my heart. It's for people to know love on a deeper level and to know it in your being self, in your deepest self, in all the magical ways you can know love. And so feel free to sit back, watch nature, and listen to this video I just made for you. Hi, I'm on the nature walk again. So come and join me. We have a lot to talk about today. And let's get grounded first in nature. I've been walking for a while, just meditating, sort of. Let's get these bees. I don't know if you hear them. There's some right by me. All right, here. You can go up the trail with me. There's some burnt cactus. I get motion sickness myself, so I can't watch handycam movies. But we're almost at a spot where I can sit down and talk. Today we're going to talk about addictions and how they show up in relationships, how they affect our relationships with ourselves, with other people. Let's get some bees again. Look at the landscape. Here, I'll do this again. All right, I'll just keep it like this for now. We're in this time, whenever you get this video, just trust that it came to you for a reason. And feel free, please like, share, subscribe. If you resonate with this and you know people that might resonate with it, it gets really deep though. So sometimes we don't have friendships that are this deep. Sometimes we do. So I'm going to sit around here. If people show up, I may have to pause this. I'm going to try to do these videos in a way where I don't have to edit. Because then it just takes forever. And anyway, I'm a psychologist, but I'm not your psychologist unless you live in the state of California and you want me to be your psychologist. I have a few openings right now because we're all at home, so I have telehealth available. That's, like FaceTime. Let me get some nature in the background here so you can watch. So, the pressing question today that's come up to me, it's hard to describe how I get these things. It's like I pick up on the collective consciousness that's going on right now. So right now, the virus is going around. So people are all stuck at home. I'll just say that much. And other stuff is going on behind the scenes that might come out later, but hopefully it'll come out. It's not mine to talk about that right now, but it is to talk about, people say you can either be part of the problem or the solution. And I want to be part of the solution. And part of the solution is that people are stuck in addictions right now, and they're moving from a place of an imbalance in the male and female relationship and the male and female relationship inside of yourself. Let's just talk about addictions real quick. So sometimes I use food because people can just understand food and not feel so intimidated by their own addiction. First, it's important to know that shame is what fuels addictions. And so when we are cut off in childhood by the unconsciousness, sorry, there's a beautiful bird. I don't know what that is. Anyway, I wish you could see everything I'm looking at. Let's see. Let's get the breeze again. Let's say in early childhood, our parents didn't get the love that they needed from their parents because their parents were cut off for whatever reason. So you can't give away what you don't have. If our parents didn't have the love, and even if they tried to love us, oh, this is pretty behind me. Even if they tried to love us, we still learn, we still can feel the neglect to different degrees. Just take a minute. I know I think way outside of the box, and it's really awkward sometimes for some people to just stare at a screen. But we're in nature. If you hear the birds, if you could see the butterflies, the bees are around me. These yellow flowers are in front of me. Oh, there's some right there. They're so pretty in the breeze. What I'm talking about may seem really simple or small, but it's huge and it impacts all of our lives. So it's important, very important. And I take like a laid back approach, but it doesn't mean that what I'm talking about, it's of the utmost importance. It can change your life. So get grounded. That just means be present. Be here with yourself. You're choosing to be here with yourself. You're choosing to be here with me. As I teach you what I know and what I've practiced. If I hadn't practiced this, I wouldn't be able to sit here with you. It would be way too uncomfortable even to make a video about it, even behind a screen, you know? So what fuels addictions is shame. And where we get shame is feeling disconnected and not having intimacy. And a lot of people don't know how to have intimacy. And so we stay in our ego. And our ego keeps looking for stuff to fill it, for stuff to make it feel better, to make it feel full. It feels empty. I quoted this before, but G.K. Chesterton has this quote, and it says, "Every man in a brothel is looking for God." I have this sense that we're all looking for God. We're all looking for a deeper intimacy with love, and God is love. And look what I happen to wear today. It's sparkling, my angel wings. I don't know why I'm on a walk with sequin shirt on. I usually just, I found this the other day in my closet and I wore it out, and it ended up being a really meaningful experience. where I connected with other people that I could bring love to. And they brought love in my life too. So anyway, let's go back to what's going on here. What's going on is there's an imbalance of the male and female energy within us. And when there's an imbalance, people act out in destructive ways. And so some of those can be sexual addictions, some of them can be eating disorders, some of them can be alcohol or smoking or drugs or whatever, just running to try to numb ourselves from the shame that's underneath. And the shame comes from being disconnected, from not having real love, not having real connection, not having intimacy. And so when people come in, let's say, and they come into my office, and like, let's say someone comes in for an eating disorder, and they think they're going to talk about, okay, this is what I ate, this is what I want to eat, this is how I want to lose weight, this is where I've been throwing up my food, binging and purging is what they call it in the psychological terms. And we don't need to talk about any of that. That is a distraction. Like, if I have a deep loneliness and a pain inside and feel shame from not feeling connected with, or that people don't know me and people don't want to know me, or I'm around a lot of people but people don't know me and I still feel alone, I don't want to talk about that. Most people don't. I don't mind talking about it because I just go there. I go there with myself because I want to heal whatever's there. It's not my fault it got there from childhood. And everybody has it. Maybe not to the same extent or degree, or some people have it a lot more, and it's like it's under a wall of drywall and drywall and drywall, so they don't even know that shame is underneath there. They're just used to being disconnected. So let's go back to a sexual addiction or a food addiction or drugs or alcohol. If you feel this shame and you don't know that there's a way to actually get connected and connect with love, then, or if you've had a grief in your life, like someone left you or died, or and you never properly grieved that, felt the pain of that, let yourself feel that, then we just can develop addictions on top of that, and it numbs us from feeling the emptiness and the loneliness that's underneath it. And so an addiction is a temporary fix. So it's called a quick fix. To have temperance, let's say, here's the word temperance, this is like a philosophical term as well, but is to delay your immediate gratification for the greater reward that's more remote, that's further out. It's right now, if I'm feeling pain and I get some chocolate and I have endorphins from the chocolate and it fills me up in the immediate, then I'm numb from that and I feel good and I made myself feel good, and so it rewards it, and I want to keep going back to that. But then if I form an addiction, I don't have my own will. My own will starts going away because chocolate is what's controlling me, and trying to numb myself is what's controlling me. And let's say if it's an addiction to hooking up with people or pornography or things like that, I'm running to those things to try to make myself feel an immediate ego boost or an immediate high of some kind. What happens is, when you're in childhood and you feel this disconnect and you feel this shame and you feel this emptiness, you do whatever you can to, you learn. I mean, it's almost like a psychic sense, people can learn how to try to please their parents, to try to get their parents to love them. And the other thing that happens is if you feel this disconnect and this lack of love and this absence, you develop this shame, like I said, and then some bikers came, so I had to stop the video for a second. Okay, so I moved up higher. It's so pretty. All right. I want to make this succinct. We don't need to be talking all day about this because it's important you get the concepts so you can begin to work on this. What happens? We feel disconnected in childhood. We don't realize we do. It happened when we were 2, or 3. And we feel this shame because we internalize it. We don't want to think that we have bad parents because those are the only parents we have, and they're the big guys and we're the little guys, and so we want to just think that they're good. And so we think that we must have done something bad. And this is just what often happens. And so we keep feeling like we did something wrong, and we're trying to fix that and trying to fix that. And so we learn to try to pick up on their clues, or what do they want? What do they want us to fix? What do they want us to do differently? Look at these white flowers. They're so pretty. You see the wind? Like, it's important to there's a hawk up in the sky. I won't try to look for it again. I try to do that in one of my videos. I'm turning to nature for a reason, you guys. Nature is like a dog, It's neutral. It loves us. It gives us loving feedback. It doesn't judge us. And so I'm doing these in nature for a reason. 1, because I need to be out here at this time, for sure. It's important for me. And 2, because it can ground us. This nature can ground us and help nurture us as we're working on this stuff. So we feel disconnected from love. We feel this shame. We try to learn how to please people, and then people can take advantage of us. Or we learn either I have to be the pleaser or the one that's being pleased, and people can develop narcissistic tendencies and just be takers and takers and takers in relationships because they don't want to be the victim. And so they think someone has to be the victim, someone has to be the aggressor, the giver and the taker. And so it's weird. My brother was telling me about this. I didn't know, now I know about this pattern, but I didn't know about this pattern. He says he sees it in millennials. So you millennials, maybe take a look. I don't know how he described it, but it's basically like you try to keep people on a hook so they come after you and come after you and come after you, and you just get an ego boost after them, chasing after you. And it's like you keep feeding them breadcrumbs or something. I don't know. I look at that as part of this whole pattern of people living in their egos and not knowing that there is a deep love. There's love. There's a deep intimacy and love that people can have. And just like that quote that I said earlier, is like every man in a brothel is looking for God. We're looking for this deep soul connection and this deep love that is so missing in our society in lots of ways. And people forgot, and they don't realize that they have access to that love. And we sell ourselves short. So what happens is if we don't get that love in childhood, we're taught by their actions, you're not worth the real thing. And so I was talking about temperance. The definition of temperance is to delay the immediate gratification for the greater good that's more remote, that's further out. And so, like, if my kid is just getting on my nerves and I am not mindful and not aware and like, wait, I want to teach him or her, give them a consequence and be present and teach them not to behave this way. Or I can take a short-term fix and just yell, and it shuts them up and it fills them with shame and they feel disconnected, but I got them to do what I wanted them to do. And so, but just temporarily, then it breaks down the relationship I have with that person. And so this is what can happen in a relationship with yourself and with other people, is you can have a manipulative relationship or a relationship where you guys just use each other, and intimacy can't really be built up, and people are having secret lives and lies, and distance is created, and power struggles are there because I'm blaming all my stuff that I don't want to look at on you, and you're blaming all your stuff that you don't want to look at on me, and it just gets into a giant mess. Like, it's weird sometimes for me to think that people are operating this way. I mean, I'm not saying I'm so far above all of this stuff. I'm just constantly wanting to work on it and look at it, just like, a nutritionist or something is really aware of the nutrients and the micronutrients and whatever else. I don't know what else is in food, Like, how can I have a healthy diet? I look at how can I keep a relationship healthy and keep the relationship with myself healthy and keep the relationship with God connected and healthy. So going back to, let's reiterate this. Let's go recap this, is we feel disconnected in early childhood. That creates shame because we don't feel loved. We blame it on ourselves, and then we try to do what we can to please people, or else we just learn this learned helplessness, like we can't do anything to please these people, so forget it. I might as well go just be a taker and take from people, or just give up. I'm not going to have love the rest of my life, and just go to addictions and numb myself and fill myself up with these quick fixes that give me an immediate sense of satisfaction, but they don't get me any closer to love. And love is what I'm, the butterfly that just went by. Love is what I'm really longing for, and what my soul craves. We're soul beings in these physical bodies, and so we see the addictions don't satisfy us. I see the faces of some people that I love. I see their faces sometimes in pictures. And there's like an emptiness, and I feel so bad for them. I want so much for them to have a heart full of love, There's like a loneliness you can see. And I know it because I've known it. I've known it in my own life. And so, like, someone with an eating disorder might want to come in, like I said earlier, and talk about what they ate and what their food patterns are and how can I do this differently. But I always say to my clients, it's like you want to work on this from the inside out and the outside in. You want to work on this more so when you learn how to be present with yourself and be loving, then you teach yourself that there's something more than the addiction you're offering yourself. We get in the cycle of thinking that our love comes from being accepted externally by people, or by how much money we make, or however we judge our worth by in our society. Like, do I have the fancy car? Do I have the fancy clothes? Or do I have the right makeup on, or the right body, or the right bank account? Or I don't know. It's. I mean, I do know because I'm not like Eckhart Tolle or something. I'm not Jesus. I'm not completely ego free, egotism free. But right now we have this time because this virus is going around and everyone's stuck at home and they're all like, what is my identity? Wait, who is my authentic self, And we're not running around trying to prove ourselves to other people at parties, or at church. People can try to prove, oh, I'm this much Christian. How much Christian are you? Or I'm this much, whatever your religion is, So when you're a child, it's like you're dependent on your parents mirroring back to you your worth. And so we think that we're still dependent on other people seeing our worth and giving that to us, or us saying, you are worth today. And then right now people are in confusion because they're like, wait, where is my worth coming from? Because I can't do all these things, these activities that I was doing. And they have this loneliness and this pain underneath sometimes. And there's shame about addictions. Like, let's say and I know there are men out there, so men and women with sexual addictions, or addicted to pornography or something, and then, or it's like they don't even, I just know when people get in a relationship where they're mutually using each other and there's not real intimacy being developed and real love, then shame develops and you can feel that you're using the other person. And it's like the other person is not a cigarette to be smoked up, And we're meant to be known and loved and cherished and adored, and valued, and not be sneaky about stuff and lie or go behind people's back and have this whole hidden life that we have. It just feels better to be in innocence and honest and open and, yes, like present with people and connecting, and have a healthy sexuality instead of one where people are using each other. And there's like no intimacy underneath it. There's like physical closeness, but people they're not being known. Like, you deserve to be known. You deserve to be loved. So really, I know this is going to sound simple, but the way to begin to do this is to be present with yourself. Get to know your authentic self. Choose to, it's just like people just, if they stop numbing themselves 24 hours a day. Oh, there's like a vulture with a snake. Oh my gosh. It just dropped something. Oh my gosh. That was weird. I don't think I've ever seen that before. No, there's two butterflies. So, going back to where we are, see, sometimes we need a little relief I mean, there's these intense things that we're talking about, and I want to get back to what I was just talking about. But sometimes just connecting again with nature and with the wind grounds you again and shows you there's more than just this shame and this addiction. I know people in addictions, you feel like something else owns you, and it's a gross feeling. And you don't know yourself anymore. You don't feel like you can get yourself out of a situation, but you can. And so this is what I was talking about, is getting to know yourself. Oh yeah, if you watch 24 hours of TV a day, you know, I mean, I know people sleep, but it's like, okay, I'm going to choose to bring that back to 6 hours and then to 4 hours and wean yourself off. But it's not, you can't shame yourself, excuse me, out of an addiction. You can't say, it just doesn't work to be like, you're a horrible person for doing this addiction. You should be doing something differently. It's like you can't should yourself from shoulding yourself. It's like, they call it shoulding, you know, it's like, invite yourself. I invite you. Maybe there's more love. See, sometimes people get like this because it's important for people to express their truth, and it's showing up in my throat as I'm making this video. Is finding your own voice. Finding your voice again. Finding real love again. Just because our parents didn't give it to us doesn't mean we have to be left without it the rest of our lives. Who says? Who says that? It's not true. It's not true. You are not your addiction, and you're not stuck in your addiction. You could go get help with a psychologist. Now you can do it online. I mean, they might make it national, so I can do it with, do therapy with more people than just people in California. That's where my license is right now. But I don't have to be your psychologist. Find a local one. Or, you know, there's other ways to get to know how to learn how to heal this stuff. I have a bunch of videos where I'm trying to teach people, educate people. Elliott Smith is a singer, and he was a friend of mine, a dear soul friend of mine. His songs talk about this a lot. I was thinking of one of his songs today. It was coming to mind. Beautiful Division Day. Beautiful Division Day. And it's about separating from our parents. Well, I'm telling you what I got from it, but separating from these addictions and separating from our parents' ideas of what we're worth, the love that we're worth, and the shame. And if shame is what fuels addictions, then love is what heals it. This is basically it, okay? And love is available just like this nature is available. It's just here. It's here for you to be present in. Our ego keeps saying, no, you have to get rid of this addiction and then you'll be loved. You got to bring love into the situation first. You have to go, guess what? You were always worth loving, whether you had this addiction or not. And this is what I feel like is about to come out in the global scene, is we're going to find out about a lot of people's really, really dark addictions. And we don't make excuses. And yet sometimes if someone was abused as a child, they figure, oh, someone's always going to be taking from me, so I might as well take from other people. That's all the closeness we can have. It's not closeness, it's stealing. And so they stole my innocence, so I'm going to try to steal other people's innocence. I know we don't like looking at it. I don't like looking at it. But your innocence was always worth protecting. You are always worth protecting. Every child's innocence is worth protecting. And so some girls grow up to be women and they think they have to, like, dress with hardly anything or get real sexy looking so that they'll get men's attention. And there's nothing wrong with like celebrating being in your own body, welcoming that you're in this beautiful body that you've been given. It's a gift. But what happens when we get in our egotism, we don't realize we're there. This is subconscious. Is we just learn that that's how we get our worth, is how many guys can we get to look at us or something, or find us sexually attractive. So, and then they use that as a power trip or something. But no one's being powerful in these situations. Anyway, you can't shame yourself out of doing this. What's important to do is to ask yourself, is to be present with yourself and be, how can I offer myself more love than going after using someone else or not getting to know, let's say their people are single and they're dating, not getting to know this woman, but just, what can I say to her to get her to this place, how can I be present with myself and get to know myself and not be afraid of relationships, the give and take, it's not even give and take, it's like receiving, giving and receiving, the back and forth, the intimacy, the real intimacy that can happen, the love. So again, I'm not presenting your cure for you. We're just brainstorming this together of what I know as a psychologist and what I feel people are going through. It's like if someone comes and they have an eating disorder, let's say they use the food again to fill up the emptiness, and they feel a certain high, and then they feel this shame, like, oh, I ate too much food, let's say, and they throw up their food. They're trying to get rid of the bad that they feel inside. But the bad that they feel inside is not about the food. They just think it's about the food. And then this is why it doesn't solve the problem. The bad they feel inside is because the lack of love that they're feeling, the disconnection that they feel from childhood, the love that they wanted from their parents that they didn't get, and the loneliness they feel because they just feel so isolated from other people. They don't feel known or loved or cherished. And so the food gives them an immediate sense, or the sexual high or the alcohol gives them this numbing, gives them, you feel this jolly feeling, like you're being known or like you're loved or you're high in that moment. But at what cost, Did I really get to know the people that I was around, that I got drunk with, Do they really get to know me? Or just partying, I remember when I was like 19, I used to go to these raves and dance from like midnight till 6 in the morning, and it felt so good. I loved all that exercise. I loved it. And but I wasn't one that was doing drugs or anything, but other people were. And I didn't realize it. It's like anytime when I had a problem and these people that I'd been dancing with all night, like I thought I could call on them, I could not call on them. They were not available. to be present with problems. They're like, dude, I got my own stuff to deal with. So it's like there wasn't intimacy. We had this shared experience, but there wasn't intimacy. There wasn't equal give and take, and a presence developed with each other. So anyway, go back to the food thing. Is so if my clients come in and they're like, oh, I just keep throwing up my food, I'm like, okay, well, next time when you feel like doing it, don't go, oh, you shouldn't be throwing up your food. They already know they shouldn't be doing that. Like, they ought not to. They don't want to be. It's not like they want to be. Like, I want to have an addiction to binging and purging. No. I mean, but it's so I just say, choose to say, well, say I'm choosing to throw up my food right now, even though I know it's not solving the real problem that I want to solve is to be loved. And it doesn't take long before they see that they have a choice and they don't have to engage in that. And they're not shaming themselves out of engaging in that behavior. They're just saying, what if you deserve a deeper solution than using people this way, or using food this way, or having an imbalanced relationship with food, with alcohol, with sexuality, with your own sensuousness, sensuality. Like, you're not feeling your senses. Like, you can be present with yourself and be present with the senses that you have, and with connecting with people in a real and deep way that includes that in a healthy way. It's like learning to have balance in all things. And learning to do that is learning how to bring real love into your life. And real love is about sitting here, being present with yourself. And the song came to mind the other day that Elliot used to sing. It's a Big Star cover. And it kept playing in my head. And it was so beautiful. Because there's this part, wish I had my guitar with me, but it's like, I caught a glance in your eye, and I fell through the sky. Caught a glance in your eye, fell through the sky. Glance in your eye, fell through the sky. And it's like that. It's so like that. When you have real intimacy with someone and real unconditional love, it's like you caught it. You caught a glance in someone's eye of what real love looks like. And you're like, forget all this other stuff. I don't want my ego life anymore. I want real presence. I want real love. I want 10 out of 10 and not 6 out of 10. I want not a mile away from each other. I relate with this person, not aggressor, victim, not I use you and you use me, or I'm using you now and then you use me and we go back and forth and we're codependent on each other. No, I want real love. I caught a glance in your eye of real love. I fell through the sky. Rumi has all these wonderful quotes about when you find love, drop everything, go for that, and run, run for that. So I know it seems like I'm not talking about anything. I know that. But let it sink in what I was talking to you about. Let it sink in that you are worth deep soul love. Look at this bee right here. There's just a bee. It's just a bee, like getting its nurturance from the flowers, There's a natural balance to things. There's a natural way of connecting with this infinite love that we all have access to. And there's unnatural ways. And our society has been imbalanced in a lot of ways, and it's showing up right now. And this is our chance. This is our pause. This is our stop. when we can stop engaging in addictions and learn how to really connect with ourselves and with God again, and with nature and with each other. You're not bound to your addiction. Let's figure out how to bring love into the situation. Bring love back into your dear heart. Don't be lost in the shame of your childhood. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. But it's your choice now to go, wait a second. They taught me by their actions he wasn't worth connecting with. She wasn't worth connecting with. She wasn't worth loving in a real way. She is. He is. You are. We'll find it. We'll keep looking for it till we find it. And not looking for it in the shallow ways. You deserve something real, the real thing. I wish you love.